Namaste and welcome to this full moon meditation with me, Ali Latrobe. And this week we are thinking and meditating upon the Capricorn Cancer polarity, represented right now the 17th of January, within the sun being in Capricorn and the moon being in Cancer. So this is the polarity of stability. It's the polarity from which things are born and created in many ways. The Cancer side of this dynamic is the birth into the physical world. It's all about emotional belonging and finding our home, creating our spiritual home in this world. And the Capricorn side is far more about doing the hard work, going out of the home, going out and up towards our highest spiritual potential to achieve and aspire to our highest possibility. You know, this polarity for me is one to really think about through meditation in a way of, you know, what is it that you're trying to create in this world? All of those, you know, visions from Sagittarius season, hopefully you know which of the ones are true for you now, but hopefully this meditation and in this full moon, we're going to get a better understanding of what is it that we are moving into that's new, that's going beyond what the paradigm before us. You know, this is a pivotal point in human history that we're living in. And we have to think about what are those ways, those habitual ways that we have been living that we may be leading us into old behaviors, into old patterns, into the thing that we always do because we always do it. This is the Cancer paradigm. This is the emotional sense of emotional habitual behavior that we are hopefully going to get a little bit of clarity on today. What is that spiritual home that you're trying to create? Does that home look like the home that you came out of, that you grew out of? What is the hard work that the Capricorn sun is inspiring you to do right now? If you look at this full moon chart here, the sun is actually only a degree away from Pluto. You know, this is transformation. This is breaking down. This is what parts of our identity need to be broken down, need to be decomposed in some way, to be transformed. It's sometimes muddy, it's uncomfortable, it's challenging, it's shitty, yeah? But in order to move into a new place, into a new home, to create a new home for ourselves, for our families, for the family of humanity, these are all the Cancer things. You know, what are we trying to work towards? And, you know, I've mentioned this before, I think in the last full moon meditation here on YouTube, but, you know, Pluto is doing its work. It's taking its slow time working through Capricorn. And here we see the Pluto sign here right next to the sun, which is the circle. And these final 4 degrees of Capricorn represents government. It represents like the firm structures. And you need those firm structures. That's what Capricorn does. It creates these firm structures in order to enable things to happen. You know, this is the rules, the regulations, the time limitations upon doing something so then the next thing can happen. So then this resource is available to achieve that. And so the line continues and things happen. But in terms of the overall evolution that we're going through right now, this means that these bigger governance, corporations, Capricorn type things where power is imbalanced, is going through a Plutonic revolution. Now, it's taken its sweet time, and I'm hoping by the end of Capricorn, we'll have a little bit more clarity about all of the dark stuff within governance, within big corporations, of, the economic big structures which rule our various countries, and where there is power imbalance. And this full moon also has an additional little nugget of our relationships, in that we have this Venus retrograde that's still going on until the end of the month. And so with our Venus retrograde, hopefully we are doing some work on reviewing how we relate to ourselves, to others, to our body, to first house issues of our body, to second house issues of how we relate to money, and third house issues of how we relate to like our siblings, our real siblings, our soul siblings, the people that we meet in everyday life. How do we relate to them? How do we relate to our home? The bigger questions of this Cancer full moon. What is your home? Where do you belong? And how do you relate to your home and all of the domestic stuff? And how do you relate to your family? Ooh, Christmas might have given you some insights there. Fifth house topics of relating to your creativity. How do you express your joy? How do you express your natural, joyful pleasure? Your work. How do you relate to your how much time do you give to your work? How much time do you give to rest and to your body? These are sixth house relational aspects. If Venus is for you is going through your seventh house, this is, real relationships, maybe with actual other intimate other people. Like, what is going on there? What is the repetitive cycle, the emotional habitual cycle, the Cancer shadow that is holding you back there? Eighth house topics of death. What's your relationship with death, with sex, with finance from other people, taxes? All those dirty words, right? Ninth house topics of, religion or philosophy, of travel, your relationship with that. If it's going through your 10th house, this is your relationship to your career and your societal purpose. If Venus for you is going through your 11th house, this is how you relate to groups, how you relate to organizations, how you relate to your friends, maybe even collective thoughts. And 12th house topics there. If Capricorn is Aquarius, if you're Aquarius rising, you've got Venus going through your 12th house. So this is, this is maybe mental health, spiritual connection, your need for retreat, your relationship to your spirit, your essence, as opposed to like anything you can achieve or do or be or create or tangibly like see, right? And if you're confused by all of that, I do birth chart overviews, and I'm doing year aheads right now, and I have slots for the next couple of weeks. So if you'd like to book with me, check out the link in this video, or look at my website, ellielatrobe.com, or calendly.com/Ellie Latrobe. So we've got the Venus retrograde, but we've also got the Mercury retrograde, which has just begun. And this is going to help us review how we communicate. So those of you who are thinking about how you relate to actual other people, whether it's friends or family or an intimate relationship, or even if it's 5th house, maybe children, or 10th house, maybe parents, or the community at large, the people that work for you, maybe 6th house, One of the secrets here is to listen, listen to what is coming back. What are people understanding from what you said? Maybe you have to check a few times. Maybe you have to go back, repeat things, check people have got the right end of the stick, right? You have to be more patient in Mercury retrogrades. You're patient with other people as well, because maybe they're misunderstanding, maybe you're misunderstanding, but give each other a little bit of space, a little bit of patience, it's not the time for going headfirst into busy technological or financial craziness. It's the time of really, if you have to do that stuff, really thoroughly go through it. And in your relationship stuff that's going on with the Venus, fully communicate it. Maybe write it down. Maybe get the other person to repeat back what they think they've understood by what you said, so that you can make sure that they actually understand what you're saying, right? And all of this is part of the hard work. It's part of the Capricorn hard work, to birth anything, to create anything physically. Cancer is physical birth versus Capricorn, spiritual birth, how we can climb to our highest possibility, not just what we can show each other and what we can achieve, or how many A levels we can get, or how many degrees we can get, or how high we can get in the company, whether we can become a CEO or we can get billions of followers and be seen by millions of people. It's ultimately the big question in Capricorn is, how can your soul really fully reach its potential? And this is the analogy of climbing the mountain, climbing to the highest mountaintop of your possibility. And part of this on this polarity is knowing where you belong, knowing who you are, knowing what your spirit needs in body and what your body needs of your spirit. We have a real polarity here between spirit and form. Yeah, in the Egyptian astrological calendar, Cancer is the first sign. It's like the birth of the universe. This comes through Cancer. It's this emotional waters. Yeah. So there is more on this in my podcast on Spotify, Astrological Alchemy with me, Ellie Latrobe. I think I just go by Ellie actually on the podcast. But if you want to be listening to these little nuggets in your car or when you're walking, then you've got Spotify instead of the distraction of a human being, right? So we're going to begin the meditation. We're going to be meditating on this polarity and those themes that I've discussed. I'm going to put back my image so you don't get distracted by me. And I want you to find yourself a comfortable seated position. So whether you're cross-legged or you are on a chair sitting on the front of it with your feet hip width apart. So draw your shoulders back and down. Take a big inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Another one. Yeah. How are you doing right now? How are you feeling in your body? How are you feeling in your bones? Capricorn rules the bones. See if you can feel into your densest parts of your body as we explore from our densest to our lightest. So grounding down on your next exhales through the soles of your feet or through the pelvic floor, depending on how you're seated. Fully exhale. Inhaling, growing nice and tall. Feeling your lightest, brightest point above your crown of your head, and exhale back down into the densest part in the heart of your bones, down into the center of the earth beneath you. Doing that 3 more times in your own flow. You are both this spiritual being, this enlightened unicorn, which is our symbol of Capricorn's highest potential. And back down into the ground. rooting yourself into the foundation and fabric of the physical form itself. Knowing you have the determination, the perseverance, the goat-like drive to climb, even when things get tough. You have within you the ability to be both the goat and the unicorn. And we use that stability and that ability to keep going when the rocks are falling around us, always guided by our unicorn horn of intuition. What is it that you are manifesting this year? What is that higher vision? What is that higher purpose? How do you serve on this planet? What does your soul need you to do this year? I'm just going to gently remind you that this polarity is a yin polarity. What you do this year doesn't have to be achievement. It doesn't have to be a list. Maybe it's a state of being. Maybe it's a place of belonging. Maybe it's a home that you're creating, a home that your spirit can dwell in. Bringing your hands to your heart and your gaze inwards and upwards to your third eye. Bringing the tongue to the roof of your mouth. And feeling the breath coming in and out of your chest. Allowing that heart to expand. How can you bring the heart and the warmth of home, this Cancer moon and Cancer in general, it should feel warm, it feels protected, it is filled with the energy of the heart. As you allow your own heart to expand, making yourself feel warm. And on the other side of this polarity, Capricorn's gone outside. It's on the top of this mountain. But yet you can bring your home with you on these challenging journeys. Your home is in this body. Your spirit dwells within this heart. And can you see yourself leaving the physical home and entering into a journey? And in this meditation, we're going to visualize ourselves entering on a journey to the mountains. And these mountains are both your achievements and the payoff for all the hard work that you put in the doing. But they're also your highest potential for being. So as you walk up these mountains, however your mountains feel, with your hands on your heart, feel the warm fire of home in your heart. Even without anyone around you, as you walk alone, your own path, you are never alone. You're never cold. You have this warm fire within your heart burning, sending love to your whole body. And walking up these mountains, sometimes it does feel cold. It does feel lonely. Sometimes we fall. Our steps are unstable. Sometimes it feels like we have to go down before we go up. Sometimes we encounter challenges that we have to go around or go over or go through somehow. And feel the strength within you, the stamina to keep going, this long journey, your own journey. This journey you can't bring anyone with you on. But you need to go on this journey to grow, to leave behind these familiar, habitual habits of your own past. And maybe they've been inherited from your family, maybe previous generations, or maybe it's a collective sense of moving into a new place where there's greater balance of power, of distribution, of wealth, of greater understanding of the demons that run things beneath the currents of what we see, and a compassion for those demons, for those challenges that we may have to see in order to understand and to alchemize. And walking up as you reach to near the top, the slope becomes steeper to an extent that it seems almost impossible to reach the top. And in your heart, it feels impossible that you fall to your knees and you surrender. And there's a softening in your heart. And in that surrender, you know and that knowingness of your whole being levitates you up to the top of this mountain where you can see the whole world. Take a breath of that fresh air. Feel your heart, the fire within, the home within. And looking up into space, allowing your spirit to draw into your home of your heart. Allow that spirit in, allow that soul its expression. Taking a big inhale and exhale, bringing your hands to your legs or even to your knees, palms facing down, and feel the warmth into those legs, into the cold legs, as you sit on top of this mountain, close to space. You're so high, with this view of the whole. What is it that you're aspiring to work for this year? How do you want to orientate your life? What new paradigm are you working towards living in this year? And feel how that feels. Feel how the body feels with that knowingness that this is what 2022 means. Coming back to our breath, grounding down with the exhale, down to the feet, down into the earth. Inhale up through the spine, up through the crown. Exhale back down. Between heaven and earth, you sit. Sounding Om 3 times to seal our practice, taking an inhale and exhale. And inhale for 3 Oms, 1 in the head, 1 in the heart, 1 in the body. So I hope that this full moon is illuminating for you and that you receive the intuitive knowingness that you need at this time. I wish you all the love and light for these astrological times. I hope that all of your review of your relationships and all of your compassion and patience through the Mercury retrograde will get you through. I am always here if you need any astrological personal advice, whether it is looking at a particular issue or topic, whether you're looking for a reconnection to your soul. I have a variety of ways that I work one-to-one with people, and I'm also launching this astrology course in February, so if you're interested in that, do check out my website. Calling it Zodiacal Creative Magic, where we learn to embody and use the 12 signs of the zodiac and understand how to do that. A good basic beginner's astrology class as well as helping you manifest what you want this year, what your heart and your soul needs. So until next time, I hope that you feel what you have to feel, know what you have to know, and be all that you are. Namaste.